This week on Uncut Gems with Slim, people think having more money will solve their issues. Just because you make a lot of money does not mean that you will be in a better place financially. There is more to money than just making it, spending it, and barely saving it.
Uncut Gems with Slim, yeah, that's the name.
What's up, guys? We are back with another episode of Uncut Gems with Slim. I'm so excited to have y'all here. I got another special guest. Y'all, my girl Kionnie is in the building. Say what's up,
Hey,
girl.
y'all.
I am so excited about this episode because one, it's something that we don't talk about enough, and two, I need tips and gems in this department. We talking about financial literacy today, and this is my Responsible Homegirl. Y'all, this is Kionnie. So I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a little minute now, and when I found out you was the Responsible Homegirl, I was like, okay, so tell me what I need to know, because I don't know much in the financial space. Like, all I know is my daddy be like, don't spend more than you get.
Listen.
You know, save your coins.
That's a
Don't
gem.
run up no credit cards, all that stuff. And so that's kind of, I have that traditional mindset. But nowadays, there's a lot of different things going on in the financial space, from Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, you know, investing in stocks and all that stuff. So first, before we get too deep into that, I want you to tell the people, like, how did you become the Responsible Homegirl, and like how your brand evolved from where it was to where it's now?
Yeah, so for one, I have a brand called the Responsible Homegirl, but like I always tell people, I was the leader of the Irresponsible Homegirls. So I did not just wake up and arrive here. So I was blessed enough to go to college completely debt free.
Okay.
So I had no student loans. So
Must be nice.
Listen, each and every semester I would get anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000. So just imagine like my 18, 19, 20-year-old self with $7,000. Like, that's a lot of money.
Balling out.
Exactly. And I went to the College of Charleston, and that's downtown Charleston. So I would be living my best life. All of that was good and dandy until my senior year of college. I decided to move off campus. So my mama was totally against it. She was like, girl, stay on campus. You've been there 3 years.
Every mama be like, stay on campus.
Listen to your mama. Listen to your mama.
Yes.
But I moved off campus, and everything was good. Everything was fine, but I had them same bad money habits. But now I have new responsibilities.
Them bills.
Exactly. Bills for real. So
Yes.
4 months into moving to that new apartment, I was facing eviction. I will never forget November of 2019. I was looking at my bank statements, and I did not have my $889. So I'm like, do I pick up the phone and call my mama, or do I just figure this thing out?
Don't tell me you were stubborn and you said I'm gonna figure it out.
Listen, very prideful. I did not call my mama because I did not want to hear, oh, I told you so. I did not want to hear them curse words. Like, I just didn't want to hear it. So I literally like figured it out. So I started like listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, reading books, and I got introduced to personal finance, like this whole space. And in that season of my life, I learned that there is more to money than just making it, spending it, and barely saving it. And that's honestly what we all do with money.
Okay.
So that's how, and I guess like through that journey, because I was learning so much, I was like, other people need to know about this, because my friends was doing the same thing that I was doing.
Right.
Buying new fits for new parties, like always getting our nails done, always going out. Like, we wasn't talking about money. So that's what kind of propelled me to start sharing it and creating the Responsible Homegirl.
Real quick, I just wanted to take a moment and pause and ask, are you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe to us on all podcast streaming platforms and check out the visual on YouTube at Uncut Gems with Slim. Lastly, don't forget we are also on Instagram. Follow us on Insta to get motivational snippets, episode highlights, and so much more. Now, let's get back to today's episode. And I feel like there's so many, if I step back into my college girl mindset, like there's so many friends that I had who experienced similar stuff, like what you said. Like, I personally was not allowed to get a credit card, so I didn't have credit card debt in college, but I had like a girlfriend who was like, yeah, girl, like I got this Victoria's Secret credit card that like ruined my credit. And I'm like, first of all, who be in Victoria's Secret like that still? And second, like, how did that ruin your credit? And so it's like what advice do you have for someone who's in college who like they don't know about like saving their money and all this stuff. The people we're talking about, the people who get credit cards and they're running up their debt thinking like, oh, it's okay, or like, let me sign up for this student loan so I can have this extra money and do what I want with it. Like, what advice would you give to the person who has that mindset where they're like, oh, like if I can get the money now, I'm gonna use it now and I'm not worrying about the debt later?
Yeah. So for one, I feel like if you are in college, stay away from store credit cards. Like they are so predatory. They are quick to say, oh, sign up for a credit card for 10% off. They are quick to give you a credit card without credit education. And that's so problematic. So I would just say like, stay away from credit cards in the stores. However, start educating yourself on how to use a credit card. Because growing up, my mom was kind of like your dad, like, don't get no credit card, don't do this, don't do that. And it came from a place of fear. But really, we needed those credit cards to help build up our credit. So staying away from it is not necessarily a solution, but education is. So like, I'll always tell people like, go to YouTube, listen to podcasts, follow some Instagram pages, and just start consuming some of that financial education.
Yeah, because when like I said, my dad was like, well, really it was my mama, because, you know, she used to be a spender back in the day. And so she was like, you know, you don't need no credit card because I know your habits, you like to shop, right? And I love that she shielded me in that way, because I didn't have I had a fear of my mother, because, you know, I had a strict household. I don't know about y'all. But when my mama say something, I'm going to do it.
You gonna listen.
And so, like, I never, like, really explored down that road, because she always kind of shielded me from that. But like you said, educating yourself is important, because after like, you know, graduating college, I was like, you know, what if I need credit to do this? Like, I didn't know not building credit was a thing. Like, I thought like, okay, as long as I, you know, pay this on time, pay that on time, like that's enough.
And it's not, because not having credit is just as bad as having poor credit. Because I always tell people, credit is all about trust. If nobody can vouch for me and say, oh, I have given Kionnie this money, I know that she'll pay it back, who gonna want to give me some money?
Exactly.
Because nobody can say whether or not I'm trustworthy. So like, not having credit or not building credit is just as bad as having poor credit. So like, you have to build credit.
So what's a responsible way to build your credit as like either a college student or like someone who's fresh into adulthood?
So I would say getting a credit card, but knowing how to use that credit card responsibly.
Okay.
So when you get a credit card, you do not want to max it out. You do not want to like just use it as if it's free money, because it's not free money. So I always tell people, pretend like, let's just say for instance, you got a credit card and it's $1,000. Now the goal is to keep your utilization under 30%.
Okay.
So even though it's $1,000 credit line, you're going to pretend as if it's only $300.
Okay, teach me.
And every single month you want to pay it off in full. Now, it's a lot of personal finance gurus out here that'll be like, don't pay the whole thing off in full, blah, blah, blah. But I don't like that, because anytime you leave a balance on your credit card, now they're charging you interest. So you're paying more money to borrow money. So my thing is, pretend like you only have $300 on that credit card and pay it off in full every single month. And the more you do that, what you're showing the credit bureaus is, okay, for one, I'm giving her all of this money, but she don't even need it. And the money that she is using, she's paying me back on time every single month. So I can, you know, let her borrow more money.
Okay, and so for me, this is another part, because that's very important. So when I got mine, my parents was like, you know, when you spend it, you need to pay it off like right there. So I'd be trying to pay extra. Like, I'm really trying to like stay on top of my money. Like, I didn't want to spend too much. So like, when it comes to having a credit card, if you want to like say, well, first of all, can you explain what maxing out is? Because some people might not know what that means.
So maxing out is like, basically you're using everything that they give you. So if the credit line is $1,000, you're using a whole $1,000.
Gotcha. And so, in an instance where, say, like you're trying to avoid all of these bad instances with the credit card, is there a negative side to not using it at all?
Yes, because what a lot of people don't know is if you don't use your credit card, they can close your account. And if you have a closed account, that negatively impacts your score. and it can take some time for your score to come back up. Like some credit card companies, they'll open up the card back for you, but you don't ever want like an account to close. So that's like sometimes people will pay off their car and they're like, oh, I paid off my car. Like that's a thing to celebrate, but their credit score will go down because now the account has closed. You get what I'm saying? So it's very tricky. Exactly. It's very tricky, but you do not want those accounts to close.
And so, okay, so then that bops back to the, we gonna get off credit cards, y'all, but there's some good information that you might not know. So then that bops back to like our Victoria's Secret cards, why it's important not to open all of those store cards, because if you do, then like once you be like, okay, I'm trying to get my credit right, I'm gonna pay them off, then you gotta close it,
right? And
then that negatively affects you.
Or let's just say, for instance, back in the day, you loved Victoria's Secret, but now you don't really rock with Victoria's Secret like that, and you have this credit card and it eventually closes, but if you don't want it to close, you're gonna have to spend, let's just say, $5 a month or $7. It's almost like another task that you have to do to avoid it from closing. So
this is my last credit card question. What kind of credit card would you recommend to people looking to open one to build their credit?
Yeah, so for beginners, I would highly recommend Discover. And the reason why I like Discover is because they are very transparent. Okay. Like, they give you so much education, they give you cashback rewards, and they allow you to kind of look at like your credit score, tell you ways that you can improve your credit score. So I'll go with Discover. And I've seen personally in my life, I literally only had a car payment and a Discover credit card. And I went from like the low 500s to the 700 club. So by basically me paying my car payment on time every single month, pay your bills on time. Please, pay your bills on time. And then the second thing, like I said, like keeping your utilization under 30% and then paying off it every month.
Girl, I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
But it's only been a few times that I kind of dipped over. But anyway, we're not talking about me. We trying to educate y'all. So on this topic, what is like 3 different things that you feel either is like a common misconception or like something that people just don't know when it comes to financial literacy? I know there's a lot for you to choose from, but if you could pick 3, it don't got to be a top 3, but just pick 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 1, I would say that people think having more money will solve their issues. Just because you make a lot of money does not mean that you will be in a better place financially.
True.
The reason I say that is because there are people out here earning 6 figures plus, and they're struggling. They are living paycheck to paycheck because even though they have a lot of money, they spend like crazy.
That's the part.
So if you don't know how to manage making, let's just say $30,000, do you think you'll be able to manage making $300,000?
Listen.
The answer is no. So it's not really about what you make, it's about what you keep. The second thing, I would say that money is really mental. So it's really about your mindset. Like a lot of people think they have this mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna die one day, I can't take it with me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to save. But I really think it's more so about planning out your money. Yeah. Not being in a position where, when I talk about budgeting, people always think like it's restricting you or is it stopping you from doing something. And it's not about that. It's just about planning so you'll know exactly where your coins are going. Right. It's no way I will go to somebody's job, work 40 hours a week, and then just spend my money like crazy. Because it's like, now I'm working for T-Mobile. Now I'm working for Chick-fil-A. Now I'm working for Amazon. Now I'm working for Forever 21. Like, I am literally working for everybody else except for myself and my financial future. So it's mental. Okay. The third thing. Oh, boy. Let me see the third thing. Oh, this is good. So the third thing is I feel like a lot of people focus a lot on their income and not really creating more income. So they focus on like, oh, I have this job that's paying me this certain amount of money and I need more money. Not necessarily taking like the money that they're making from their job and investing it to make more money. Okay. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. It kind of leads into another question that I got for you, which is how do you make money that lasts or like make your money make money?
That's very good. So you make your money last by playing the long game. So what kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
I have an iPhone as well. I have a MacBook.
iPhone. I got a Mac. Girl, I got everything. HomePod, Mac, 4 Apple TVs up in here.
Yeah, that's a
iPad, iMac. Yeah. Everything. iPod.
So you need to be invested. You need to be invested in Apple.
And ain't got one stop.
So, like, and this is a great teachable moment because I want people to stop thinking about, like, investing or their financial futures as this, like, hard thing.
Right.
You make your money last by literally playing the long game. So, if I get paid, instead of me taking, let's just say, $200 to go spend on my new wardrobe, which is not a bad thing because I love clothes or whatever, but that same $200 can go into an Apple stock.
This is true.
So instead of us playing like this game right now of instant gratification, I want this, I gotta have it right now. I want you to take a step back and think about how can I make this money last a long time. Okay. And it don't necessarily have to be like stocks. It could be real estate.
Okay.
It could be invested in a course to make, learn something new, make some more money. So it's different ways to invest and actually learn stuff and learn how to make your money grow.
Okay, so that leads into the next two places we about to slide. So my first question, when it comes to equity, like how do you go about building it? Like equity sounds like it's a short word, but it's a big term. And like a lot of people don't really understand what that means. Is it only like real estate where you can get equity? Like explain to us what equity is and how can we get involved with it?
Yeah, so anybody listening who does not know what equity is basically a really fancy word for ownership. And I always tell people about this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I got that book.
Please read it. Have you read it yet?
I read some of it.
Okay.
I need to finish it.
So in one of the chapters, they talk about how important it is to mind your own business.
Period.
So they say, even if,
that's the motto.
Even if you have a 9-to-5, you still need to mind your own business. And what he's talking about is taking your income and turning your income into assets. And an asset is basically anything that you own or anything that puts money into your pocket.
Okay.
So let's just say I have a 9-to-5, I get my income. Now it is my responsibility to figure out how I can make a portion of that income transition into something that I can own. So whether that's stock market, whether that's real estate, whether that's something that I can own. So back to your question about equity, it's really about figuring out what you want to invest in.
Okay. When
you say investing, a lot of people automatically think of the stock market, but that's only one investment vehicle.
Right.
Investing is so broad. So you got the stock market, you got real estate, you got business.
That's true.
Like, it's so many different ways to invest. So, like, in order to get equity, I would just say start off with what it is that you like, what it is that you feel like you can actually be passionate about, what you can take some time to learn, and then just start putting money towards it.
Okay, and that touches a lot of places, and I'm gonna let y'all know that goes for like if you're a creator, like equipment ain't just equipment, like that's an investment. But I ain't gonna go off on that tangent because I just got so much more that I want to ask you. So you mentioned another type of investment is like investing in a course or a class that helps you in whatever industry that you're in. So first, tell me about the importance of investing in like a class or taking classes, because I know like classes and conferences seem like a thing of the past. Like you don't hear nobody going to night school for investing. You don't hear nobody going to a conference, but like those are actual things that still happen to this day, and they're actually impactful. So can you share with them like what's the importance of investing in a class or a conference when it comes to like your brand? Yes, it is so important. And I feel like self-education is of utmost importance. Like, we do not learn about money in school. We don't even learn about money in college. So if you want to, like, be financially free, if you want to experience financial independence, you have to study it. Period. Yeah. And I think sometimes we are so quick and so in a rush to invest in a thing with not knowing like a whole lot about it. Right. So you need to literally invest in learning. That's the first and foremost thing. I also feel like when it comes to self-education, the reason why it's so important is because it allows you to skip steps. A lot of people, they want to be on YouTube, and yes, it's nothing wrong with getting free game. But if I can actually invest in a course and get access to a person who has done it before me, who has proven results, who is there to answer my question, why am I wasting time searching on Google and YouTube? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So it just saves you more time, and not saying that you're not going to make mistakes or you're not going to have your own journey, but it kind of just puts you above where you don't have to make mistakes on your own or make mistakes that they made. Right. That's kind of like getting advice from, you know how your parents try to tell you something and you don't want to listen until your friend tell you, like, you need to go to a trusted source. So I think that's a great point of, like, when it comes to, like, investing in conferences and investing in classes. And while we're on it, this is just gonna be quick. You can give me a quick answer.
Okay.
What is your favorite conference that you've attended so far, and, like, what made it that?
So I would say my favorite had to be FinCon, which is a conference that I just went to. I'm the type of person, I go to a lot of conferences. I always invest in stuff. But sometimes what you'll realize when you start going to these events is it is a whole lot of, like, motivation. And there's nothing wrong with motivation.
Right.
I just feel like I'm at a point in my life where I don't need motivation. Like, I'm already motivated. I need practical things. Like,
give me practical advice. Right. Yeah.
So I got a lot of that from FinCon, and I met so many great people. And I want to just shout out, like, my mentor, Marlene.
Yes.
I literally met her at the shuttle stop, and we were just talking, and she's not like this woman with no huge social media presence. She wasn't all dressed up. She just like this little lady, but she was filled with wisdom and knowledge. And I just think about, had I not opened my mouth and had that conversation with her, like I would not have a new mentor. So it really puts you in the atmosphere to meet new people and meet people who have done what it is that you're trying to do.
And that's why networking is so important, because I feel like a lot of people the networking that people do nowadays is usually like, what can I get from you? What can I get out of you? Instead of actually building a relationship.
It's not organic.
Right. And I think it's so important when it comes to networking to build, like, organic relationships, people you can come to for advice. And it's not like a vibe, like, if you come to me asking about creator advice, I'm not gonna be like, okay, look at my media kit, girl, because we have that relationship. So I think it's so important to build networks. Now, one of my last questions, because I don't want to hold you here too long. One of my last questions is when it comes to financial literacy. So one thing they'll tell you when you start a YouTube channel is like, oh my gosh, you need an LLC, girl. You need this, you need that. And it's like, okay, cool. So, like, for me, I have an LLC, but I didn't get it off of, like, education and knowing what I was doing. I was like, okay, let me Google, how do I get an LLC?
Right.
Because I'm very much the self-taught creative, and we're going to talk about that a little bit next week.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I did that, and I was able to get my LLC, but I really don't know how to use it outside of, like, I looked up, you know, how to use it for your EIN and taxes and all that stuff.
Right.
But I know having an LLC is important because you can build, like, business credit and all that stuff. So just share with, like, the creator watching, like, if they don't have an LLC, what's the importance of having it and what can they do to utilize having it?
Yeah. I feel like having an LLC, it really legitimizes your business. So it changes, like, what are you doing from a hobby to, like, your business.
Right.
And even if you're not, like, making a ton of money, you can already put yourself in a mindset. You can already be practicing for what it is that you want your business to become.
Right.
Something else important that you said, business grants. They are always going to ask you when you're filling out an application, do you have an LLC? What's your EIN number? Different things of that sort.
Right.
So it puts you in a whole separate category than other people just out here doing this for play. I would say another thing is when you have an LLC, say for instance, you want to get a business loan. Like, you may not want to be like the person who, like, self-funds your business or anything. So it really just puts you in a position for your business to grow and for your business to be taken seriously. So I really think that's the major thing of, like, having an LLC. Okay,
and then before we get to the fun stuff, so we talked about this briefly in the episode with CJ, and I said you be wholesaling trailer park homes. She wholesale mobile homes, y'all.
Same thing.
So how'd you get into doing that, and how does that add to the caveat that we was talking about making your money last or making your money make money?
Yes. So I'm the type of person, I practice what I preach. So if I tell y'all invest in your self-education, best believe I'm doing the same thing. So I was literally listening to a podcast, and Mobile Home Elite Investors, y'all should go check them out. They were on the podcast.
Okay.
And they were telling me about their journey, or telling us about their journey.
Telling me, make it personal.
Listen, I feel like I'm the only one listening. But they were telling us about their journey. And then at the end, they were like, we got a course, blah, blah, blah. And at the time, the course was $250. I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. Let me invest in the course. So I invested in the course.
Okay.
Learn what I could learn. Did not take action right away.
Okay.
But a couple of months later, I decided to take action. 6 months later, I closed my first deal. So I was like, this works. So for those of you who are listening who don't know what it is, wholesaling mobile homes is basically where you are a middleman. So I put out bandit signs, I put out different signs where I want people to contact me if they want to sell their mobile home. So they'll hit me up like, hey, I have a mobile home that I want to sell, blah, blah, blah. And then I ask them these series of questions to make sure it can get sold, right? And it is my job to connect that person to a buyer.
Okay.
And by me connecting them to a buyer, I get paid a fee. And that's literally all. Now, what I don't like about wholesaling, because I'm very transparent, is it's almost like another job. So all of this money that I have to do, all this money that I make, I have to work for it. I want to get to the point where mobile homes are investment properties. So no matter if I work or not, you are going to be paying me rent.
Gotcha.
So you get the difference like between me having to go out, get a seller, get a buyer. Right. Instead of me buying something one time, it's on a property and I got somebody renting it and paying rent every single month.
Right.
So I feel like the thing that I aspire to do, that's more longevity versus what I do right now is more so like a second job. But it's still putting me in position to learn about the industry. And sometimes like you just got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. I tell everybody that. You literally have to take baby steps to get there. But yeah.
Okay, I like that. Do what you got to do.
Until you can do what you want to do.
Period. Okay, well, girl, I didn't want to mess that up. That was a good ending note. So what I've been doing at the end of the podcast for everyone so far is I've been doing a this or that challenge. Last week I switched it up. We had Nara on the podcast, and you know he creative, so I had to just do the one word challenge for him. But for you, I thought nice and hard about these, and I'm so excited. So we're gonna do the this or that challenge, and you basically it's a speed round, rapid fire. You pick which one.
I'm scared.
On the top of your head. Okay, so it's only 10 words or 10 phrases. We gonna get to it. So the first one is edit on your phone or edit on your computer.
My phone.
Large savings or invest in stocks.
Invest in stocks.
Cryptocurrency or USD.
USD.
In student loan debt or in credit card debt.
In credit card debt.
A job you hate with a high salary or a job you love with and being underpaid.
Job I love, being underpaid.
Okay, tons of money, no free time. Tons of free time, no money.
I'm gonna take the tons of money.
Okay. Twist out of braids.
Twist out.
Cash App or Venmo.
Cash App.
Debt from a new car or a new house.
New house.
Okay, hoop earrings or tassel earrings.
Hoop earrings.
Not the tassels.
Hoops all day. Hoops all day.
Period.
That was fun.
Yes. Well, thank you for playing my this or that game.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Can you share with the people where they can find you on social media, your podcast?
So I am literally the Responsible Homegirl on everything. So YouTube, podcast, Instagram, Facebook, the Responsible Homegirl.
Period. So make sure you guys follow her. I'll put her information on the screen. I love y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. And until next week.
Bye.
When